Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our General Council meeting for the 29th of October here in beautiful Blackwater. So I would like to start the meeting now. So we'll start with who's present. So just to record who's present, please, Marnie. Thank you very much. And also to record our apologies and our leave of absence for today. We have Councillor Wilkins has a leave of absence and is an apology for the council meeting today. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Hindmarsh, and seconder, Councillor Cruz. All carried? Thank you. Now, moving on to our acknowledgement of country. I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live, and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community, and we pay our respects to elders past and present, and to all those over the generations that have forged and formed our amazing region. Moving on now, we'd like to welcome for our opening prayer this morning. We'd like to welcome lay leader Beth Baker, who's here from the Blackwater Uniting Church, to deliver our opening prayer. So welcome, Beth. Thank you.
So good morning, everybody. It's lovely to be here and it's lovely to be able to do this. So thank you for the invitation. I'm a great believer in the KISS method. So that is, let's get on with this. So let's pray. Loving God, thank you for the opportunity to pray for this meeting here today and for each individual taking part in it. We pray for our mayor and councillors to make just and fair decisions as they serve the community with a deep understanding of its needs. We pray for wisdom to guide their decisions, for a deep sense of justice, and for the ability to listen to each other with them to work together in harmony, even when they disagree, and to put the welfare of our people first. Grant them the discernment to make the best decisions for the greater good of all who live here in this vast area called the beautiful Central Highlands. May their work be conducted in a spirit of service, and may their actions be guided by love, grace and truth. And as this meeting begins, we ask for your peace to fill this room and to guide the words and actions of all. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very, very much, Beth. We appreciate that. And thank you for your beautiful blessings. Thank you for your beautiful prayer. And absolutely, your words resonate and very close to our hearts, and always putting the community first. So thank you very much. Now moving on to item 5, which is our confirmation of minutes from our previous meeting. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cruz, seconder, Councillor Burns. So if there's any business arise, all those in favour? Carried. Thank you. And any business arising out of the minutes from the previous meeting? No, we're all good. Okay, moving on to item number 7, which is a review of our outstanding meeting actions, if there's anything on there that councillors wanted to raise at all. All good? Okay, moving on to item number 8, which is deputations. We have nil deputations today. Moving on to item number 7, mayoral minute. We have nil mayoral minutes today. Moving on to item 10, which is a conflict of interest. So I open the floor to any councillors who may have a conflict of interest to declare today. Councillor Hindmarsh.
Thank you. Through the chair, the matter under consideration at council agenda item 12.2.2 involves an application for funding the purchase of a coring machine for golf course renovations at Dringa Golf Club. I'm a member of the Dringa Golf Club, notwithstanding that an exemption applies under legislation where I do not have a declarable conflict of interest, solely because of my membership of a sporting club. In this circumstance, I am choosing to voluntarily declare a conflict of interest for openness and transparency purposes, because I may indirectly benefit from the purchase of the machine like other members of the Dringa Golf Club. I have not had any input into this funding application on behalf of the Dringa Golf Club and believe that I can remain impartial in any consideration of the matter. And I would therefore request that councillors allow me to participate in a decision about this matter, including by voting on the matter, although I will of course respect any decision that councillors make in relation to my request today. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. We'll put that to the vote. So any councillors who believe that councillor Hindmarsh has a declarable conflict of interest, can you raise your hand? Sorry. Stay or leave, sorry. Should councillor Hindmarsh stay or leave? So those that vote for him to stay, if you could show your hands, please. Yep, thank you, councillor.
Sorry. Firstly, there's been no discussion and it's normal process for the person declaring to leave the room while this process happens.
No, so sorry.
Well, have in the past.
Yeah, sorry, councillor. I have checked into that. So per the Act, the councillor who is a subject of the decision may remain at the meeting while the decision is made, but cannot vote or otherwise participate in the making of the decision, other than by answering a question put to the councillor necessary to assist in eligible councillors to make the decision, as in if councillor Hindmarsh stays or leaves.
So can we either have a discussion or you have the opportunity for a discussion? Because we didn't get that opportunity.
Yep. No problems. I asked my question, sorry, without giving everyone the opportunity to. So do any of the councillors have anything that they would like to ask councillor Hindmarsh or make any comments? Councillor Whiteman.
By the reading of the Act, I believe that councillor Hindmarsh doesn't have a conflict of interest. I appreciate the fact that councillor Hindmarsh has brought this to our attention. However, it's very clear that he does not have a conflict of interest.
Thank you, councillor Whiteman. Councillor Newman.
I actually concur with councillor Whiteman. I don't believe that councillor Hindmarsh has any conflict of interest and would be welcome to stay.
Thank you. Councillor Cypher.
Thank you. And I also agree. I think it gets pretty hard for councillors if just because we're members of a club. I mean, we would never be able to be a member of anything or participate in anything in community if we had to leave the room every time, particularly community grants or something like that comes up. But I do respect the transparency that councillor Hindmarsh has put forward. Good practice, and thank you very much.
Thank you, councillor Cypher. Councillor Burns.
Mine will be quick. Councillor Cypher stole most of my words, but no, I see it's perceived at best. It's not, because he's not on the executive. As Councillor Cypher said, if we had to leave the room every club we're involved in, as councillors, we're usually involved in quite a few clubs before we're here and while we're still here, so I don't see a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I thought that Councillor Hindmarsh did an excellent job with his statement, and it was very comprehensive. So thank you very much, everyone. So we come to the vote again. So vote whether Councillor Hindmarsh stays in the room. Mover and a seconder. Okay. We have a mover, please. Councillor Cruz, seconder, Councillor Newman. Now we can vote. See, we've done this heaps of times. To stay in the room. So, record the votes. Yep, we're all. Yep. So, unanimous for Councillor Hindmarsh to stay in the room. Congratulations, Councillor Hindmarsh. Thank you. So we're happy with that? We're good? We're all good? Okay, let's move on to item number 11. So petitions. Are there any petitions, Mr. CEO, today?
No petitions received.
Good, thank you very much. Moving on to section 12, item number 12.1. So handing over now to General Manager, Commercial and Corporate Services, Carolyn Knudsen, and to lead this next item, which is the monthly financial report, September 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the Chair, good morning, councillors. This report provides an overview of Council's financial performance for the period ending 30 September 2025. Measured against Council's adopted 2025-26 budget, I now hand over to Helen Kirby, Manager Finance, to speak to this report.
Before handing over, if it's okay, if we have a mover and a seconder for the report, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Hindmarsh, seconder, Councillor Cruz. Thank you very much. We'll proceed with the briefing, then come back to Councillor Hindmarsh.
Thank you. Through the Chair, and good morning, councillors. Council recorded a September year-to-date operating surplus of 34.7 million, which is 5.2 million above budget. This result reflects a strong year-to-date revenue performance due to the issue of the first half rates notices in August and lower than expected operating expenses resulting from timing differences. These variances are typical for this stage of the financial year. The total capital budget for the financial year is 82.7 million. Actual spend is just under 10 million at the end of September, or 12% of the budget. Including commitments representing purchase orders raised, progress against budget increases to 38%. The cash balance stands at 135.5 million, with 97% of this balance held securely with Queensland Treasury Corporation in at-call accounts. Approximately 47 million is considered restricted cash due to legal and other obligations limiting how the funds can be used. An example of this is unspent grant funding that has been received for the construction of assets. Current borrowings stand at 31.1 million. 4 high-interest loans were repaid in September. This is expected to save Council approximately 1.7 million in future interest and fees over the remaining terms of these loans. Most of the financial sustainability ratios are in line or exceed the recommended targets set by the Department of Local Government. The asset sustainability ratio is currently below target and is expected to fall short of the 80% target at the end of the financial year due to the high level of new and upgrade projects in the Capital Works program this year. Most of Council's business activities recorded year-to-date operating surpluses, except for water utilities, which encompasses both water and sewage services for the purpose of this reporting. A year-to-date operating deficit was budgeted for water utilities. However, the actual deficit was lower than budgeted due to timing variances in operating expenses. Total rates and water arrears were $13.5 million at the end of September, up from August due to balances owing from the first half rates notices issued in August that were due on the 11th of September. Since the end of September, which is the reporting period covered in this report, additional amounts have been collected from the first half rates levy, reflecting the collection of late payments, as well as the impact of first and second reminder notices that have been issued. In relation to procurement activities, 1,152 purchase orders were raised in September, relating to a mix of infrastructure, equipment and service projects. A number of tenders were also released during the month for infrastructure and equipment projects. Currently, spending directed to local suppliers is on par with that directed to external suppliers, reflecting Council's commitment to supporting regional businesses. In closing, Council's financial performance is generally on track with the budget. While some of the results are influenced by timing differences in revenue and expenses, overall things are progressing well at this stage of the financial year. The recommendation is that the Central Highlands Regional Council adopts a monthly financial report for the period ended 30th of September 2025. Thank you and happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Finance Manager. So over to Councillor Hindmarsh.
I'll speak at the end if I may, please.
Certainly can. Thank you. So any councillors have any comments to the motion or any questions? No, thank you. I will just make a comment, if that's all right, to the report. Thank you very, very much for another very comprehensive financial report again this month. I did note that you specifically pointed out about the local spend and noted that for the month of September, the local spend was 45%, so which is excellent, and overall for this financial year is still sitting at 44%. So thank you very much. And I'll hand back over to Councillor Hindmarsh for any closing comments.
Thank you. Through the Chair, thank you very much for the report. As per usual, it is very in-depth and gives us as councillors, gives us a very good picture as to how the organisation is travelling. Along with Madam Mayor, the local spend is what I was going to focus on as well. I think the increase that we've seen over the last 12 months in the local spend with regards to the organisation's day-to-day operation is very, very encouraging, and I think it should be highlighted. And so thank you very much to all for that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh. We have a mover and a seconder, so all those in favour to accept the report. Thank you very much. Unanimous, so yeah. Thank you. So moving now on to item 12.2.1, and which is the Blackwater East Priority Development Area Revocation, endorsement of revised planning instrument change to proceed to public notification. So handing over now to our I have a mover before I hand over. I'm always so keen to hand over. Can I have a mover for this report, please? Councillor Newman, and a seconder, Councillor Burns. Handing over now to Acting General Manager Communities, Jason Houlihan. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good morning, councillors. As mentioned by the Mayor, the report is with regard to the Blackwater and Blackwater East Priority Development Area revocation. Specifically today, we're seeking endorsement to support the revisions to, conditioned by the Minister of the Economic Development Queensland to the proposed planning instrument change. And to seek to move to public notification. I'll hand over to Brendan Standen, the Acting Manager of Planning and Land Management, to run through the report.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and councillors. I know everyone's chewing at the bit for this one. As the Acting General Manager of Communities mentioned, it's in relation to the Blackwater and Blackwater East revocation. Just before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the significant amount of work that's gone into it from council officers, particularly the Coordinator of Strategic Land Use, who unfortunately isn't here today to present the meeting, but I know it's a sentiment that the councillors share as well, that a significant amount of work has gone to getting to the point we're at today. So just as a very quick reminder, the revocation or planning instrument change, PIC, seeks to change the planning instrument in force in the affected areas from the Blackwater Priority Urban Development Area, Development Scheme 2011, and Blackwater East Priority Development Area Scheme 2014 to the Central Highlands Regional Council Planning Scheme. So following the March General Council meeting, it was adopted to progress the PIC through to the Minister for Economic Development Queensland to do effectively a state interest check and review. Council received a response for that back in September with some suggested minor amendments. Those minor amendments are reflected in the council report. Most notably of those is 2 zoning changes to correct 2 minor issues that were in the initial PIC. Now, while we consider these revisions to be minor, when considered in the context of the entire PIC, they do involve a change in the zoning. In normal circumstances, any changes in zoning would be considered significant, and for that reason, the PIC's been brought back to the council meeting prior to progressing to public consultation. Now, the intent is for the public consultation to occur in February this year, just to avoid that holiday period over December and January. And the recommendation from council officers is that the PIC be endorsed along with the associated documentation as per the approval with suggested minor amendments. And that authorises the Chief Executive Officer to take all reasonable steps to undertake public notification, generally in accordance with the proposed community engagement plan attached to the report.
Thank you very much. So over to Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I'm just very grateful that it's progressed to this stage. I think the support for this PIC has been ongoing over a lot of years. An enormous amount of work has gone in from a number of officers to continue support of this application. I welcome the speedy response we've received from the Minister of Economic Development Queensland, and I am in support of getting the best outcomes for public notification, and am in support of the revised community engagement schedule. Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from councillors? Councillor Hindmarsh.
Thanks, through the chair. Could I, for the sake of the viewers, the live streamers, could I please ask in what forms will the public notification take? So is it just on the website, or is there how are we going to notify them and give them the opportunity to see what's occurring?
Through the chair, so page 272 of the council agenda includes a communication strategy, so it's a fairly comprehensive engagement strategy. Now, there's a table 6, which steps through what the engagement activities will be. So, for example, it typically includes, hosting drop-in sessions at shopping centres, which happen as part of some early engagement with the community. They'll be online, have a say, Facebook posts around it as well, but there will be quite a bit of community outreach across the 30 business day consultation period. So it's not just going to be limited to a Facebook post and media release. There will be council officers out in the community engaging with the community.
Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh, and I guess there might be radio and newspaper and online as well, so all of the above. Thank you. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, I guess it's more of a comment than anything. So it's evident that it's much harder. It's a much harder process to remove a PDA from a community than what it is to initiate and implement one. And I guess through this process, it's like we mentioned a couple of slight amendments there, and it stands to reason that invariably there are going to be some small changes or some small amendments in what is just a massive undertaking. And I guess ultimately this process means that there's going to be, in the end, when it goes through, there's going to be more consistency that can be applied across the region. And I think along with our council staff and officers from EDQ for their consistent efforts and over extended period of time in undertaking what is a mammoth task, we do need to acknowledge the Deputy Premier's input from December 2024, because in addressing this issue as he has, it means that in time, local issues and local decisions will be locally led, which is a good thing. Great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Cruz. Well, and moving on now to Councillor Donaldson.
I'd just like to ask, like, a lot of the public wouldn't understand what this is. So I'm thinking if Brendan could explain to the public what this actually entails and why it come about, please.
Yep, so the priority development areas were established over Blackwater in 2011 and 2014. So with those priority development areas, there's development schemes which sit separately to council's planning schemes. So it's effectively different planning controls that apply to Blackwater and a different assessment and approval process for developments compared to the rest of the local government area. When it was first established in 2012, there was a fairly big kick up in development approvals, but since then it's plateaued quite significantly. And I guess bringing it back into the Central Highlands Regional Council planning scheme, it gives council a bit more autonomy over how development is assessed and the benchmarks that apply to it. So it's I guess it's bringing Blackwater back into Central Highlands Regional Council from a planning assessment perspective.
Thank you. Just for understanding for the general public who might be listening to this or, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And once the communications go out to, that's it will be, communicate that to the community as well. But yes, we will be welcoming Blackwater back into the overall planning scheme, as Councillor Cruz noted before. So it's a very positive new, move for not just Blackwater but the region. However, any other comments or questions?
Yes.
Sorry.
You still got.
Karen, got in first.
No,
No.
got to close.
Karen will close. Thank you. Councillor Newman, I should say. Councillor Whiteman.
The only comment further to what's already been said that possibly should have been made is to make people aware that by the revocation of this area, we give both the residents of Blackwater and the businesses of Blackwater access to the full gamut of rights and legal responsibilities that are effective across the rest of the Central Highlands in the planning scheme. One of the things that the PDA did was it streamlined the process and made it quicker, but it also took away some of the rights of people to object, and that brings everything back to a point where the rights of the people of Blackwater are the same as the rights of the people of the rest of the Central Highlands. So I'm all in favour of it.
Thank you, Councillor Whiteman. Absolutely. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Back to you, Councillor Newman.
In closing, I'd just like to say, I reiterate what Councillor Whiteman has just said. It's great to have Blackwater coming back, so we're bringing Blackwater back into our planning scheme. It aligns perfectly with our 10-year Central Highlands Planning Scheme review, and it will be nice to see a level playing field for all the communities within our region. So congratulations on the huge amount of work. I know it's not only the staff that are here today, but it's been a long, ongoing process, and quite a lot of effort has gone in from the organisation over numerous years. So you're to be congratulated on all that effort to date. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. Well said. So, all those in favour?
Point of order, could you please read out, I believe the recommendation is supposed to be read out, not just for our benefit but for the viewers as well, as to what we're actually voting on?
Thank you, Councillor. The officer read out the recommendation, so we're just voting on the recommendation that was put forward by the officer.
Usually it has been normal practice that it's read out prior to the passing of the vote, but if that's changing, that's fine.
Yeah, it has for the last few council meetings. Thank you. Very good. So, all those in favour? Unanimous? Thank you very much, councillors. Moving on now to the next item, which is item 12.2.2, the Community Grants Program. So, round 1, 2025-26 financial year, and handing, mover? No mover? Oh, mover, Councillor Whiteman. Seconder, Councillor Burns. Thank you very much. Moving on now to Acting General Manager Communities, Jason Houlihan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report today presents the Community Grants Assessment Panel's recommendation for the Central Highlands Regional Council to approve all the eligible applications received in round 1 of the 2025-2026 Community Grants Panel program. I'll hand over now to Alexis Macklin, our Community Development and Engagement Officer, to run through the applications.
Through the Chair, the Community Grants Program offers community the opportunity to apply for grants in 3 categories. The categories are Community Assistance Grant, which is for organisations with a community focus outside of sport and recreation activities. Funding is a maximum of $5,000. Sport and Recreation Assistance Grant for organisations whose objective is to provide organised sport and recreation activities. Funding is to a maximum of $5,000. Community Improvement Grant for community and sports and rec-focused organisations with the aim of achieving aspirations of the community. Funding is to a maximum of $20,000. The allocated budget for the Community Grants Program this financial year is $330,000 shared between the 3 categories. A total of $165,000 was available this round. The Community Grants Assessment Panel met on the 30th of September 2025 to assess round 1 2025-2026 applications against the criteria outlined in Council's current grants policy and the Community Grants Program guidelines. The minutes from this meeting are attached to the report. I will take the report as read. This round, Council received 9 community grant applications. Of these, 2 applications were ineligible and 7 were eligible. The assessment panel recommends that all 7 eligible applications be fully funded to the value of $119,500, excluding GST. Following this report, all applicants will be advised of their application's outcome in writing, with feedback made available to the 2 ineligible applicants. Councillor Newman and Councillor Burns, you were on the assessment panel. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Okie dokie. Thank you. We'll noting that you didn't read out the recommendation, so we'll come back to that point of order there as well. And where we're at is Councillor Whiteman moved, so we'll over to Councillor Whiteman.
Thank you very much. I would note that every community organisation that put in an eligible application was granted something. And if there's one thing that I could implore for the people of the Central Highlands is if you have a community grant that you think that might benefit you if you've got a project, please put an application in. You know, these grants are there for the benefit of the community, and I note that the two that were ineligible, one was operating outside of the Central Highlands, and the other one was had a successful grant last time round. So I think it's a real success.
Thank you very much, Councillor Whiteman. Councillor Burns.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. This would have to be one of my favourite committees to be on. I always enjoy the Community Grants Committee. And as Councillor Whiteman just suggested, 165,000 is usually for each round, and we only got 125 this round, so it was might be a good time to put in for next round if you're a community organisation. And it's, there's some good projects here, and it's always enjoyable to help out the local clubs and the community organisations. So,
Excellent. Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, the community grants round, this particular round, was very well run and very well presented by all the officers involved. It was pleasing to see so many organisations from across the region come forward with some funding from their applications, and I would also encourage more community organisations to put their grant applications forward. I know there are a number of them out there interested in grant applications, and would encourage them to proceed to the next step and contact our officers for assistance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cypher.
Thank you. It's great to see one of our most distant regions, Arcadia Valley, actually put a grant in. And I might just emphasise that it is a not-for-profit. It's got to be an incorporated community group, not just a community group. And it can be a struggle in small communities to have a incorporated group to auspice for community groups. So I know that is a deterrent. I know particularly in Capella, there isn't a lot of incorporated groups. The sporting clubs that are incorporated are already putting in grants themselves. So it is an issue across our region that there is less of the community groups going for the full incorporation to make them eligible for these grants, and then to find someone to auspice them. So that is something that I wanted to highlight, is that many of the smaller communities would very much like their little groups to receive something, but they're ineligible because of their status. And the lack of volunteers and knowledge of how to go about doing it is a concern. So it's fantastic that that there's groups that are getting something, and I'm just really proud that Arcadia Valley moved forward with a grant and was successful.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Cypher. Absolutely, I think we concur with so many grants going across the region, so thank you for presenting it. So we go back over to, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll go back over to Councillor Whiteman.
I just thank Councillor Cypher for her comments. While it's common knowledge within this group that auspicing is a way to be eligible when you're not an incorporated group, it's not always common knowledge within those smaller groups. And as you say, Councillor Cypher, there's a limited number of groups that you can auspice from or with. And so it is one of the issues. Once upon a time, there are a lot more volunteers in the community and there are a lot more people volunteering time into these community groups. It's very hard these days to get the numbers required and the time consideration. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So, yes, CEO wants to talk to the point of order.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. So, on review of the standing orders, there's no requirement for the motion to be read in full before the vote is taken. However, the Mayor may ask the chairperson may direct the motion or amendment be read again by the Chief Executive Officer. That's generally a process when you've got amended motions, not when you've got what the officer's recommendation is before you. I'd suggest that, for whatever reason, in this council, it must be more of a custom for the public. They can't see the screen around what the actual motion is that council are voting upon.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Thank you very much. I think I'm happy to read out the recommendation because usually we've been sort of trying to have the officers read the recommendation. So as we continue to, I guess, evolve to what works for our council. So thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Sypher. So I'll just read out the officer's recommendation and then we'll take a vote. So the recommendation is that the Central Highlands Regional Council approves $119,500 ex-GST in round one of the Community Grants 2025-26 to fund the 7 applications that are listed on the screen and listed in the our agenda. Per the current community grants program assessment panels, recommendations and guideline. So, all those in favour? Unanimous? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on now to item 12.2.3, which is the Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF, Round 2, 2025-26 Assessment Panel, 3rd of October 2025. So can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sypher, seconder, Councillor Newman. So handing over now to our Acting General Manager Communities again, Jason Houlihan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Regional Arts Development Fund, known as RADF, is a partnership between Central Highlands Regional Council and the Queensland Government via Arts Queensland. The program invests in local arts and cultural priorities to provide public value and build local capacity. The program this year has a total budget of $70,000 distributed across 3 funding rounds throughout the financial year. $38,013 was made available in round 2. There were 2 group applications and 2 council-initiated projects received, requesting a total of $31,994.31. Applications were assessed against the RADF guidelines, and after a careful deliberation, all applications were recommended for approval. These include the Central Highlands Performing Arts, the Inner Compass for a Creative Arts Therapy Workshop, council-initiated projects regarding Metal in March program in 2026, which involves blacksmithing, songwriting and arts workshops featuring local and regional artists, and a council-initiated project involving the Bidgerity mural at the Blackwater PCYC. The committee recommends that the 4 applications were approved to a total value of $30,458.31. And council, I'll just read out the recommendation, is that Central Highlands Regional Council receives the minutes of the Regional Arts Development Fund assessment meeting on the 3rd of October 2025 and approves $30,458.31 for the following Regional Arts Development Fund Round 2 applications for the 25-26 financial year, as per the Central Highlands Regional Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee recommendation, and those projects are listed in the table of the recommendation. Councillors, happy to take any questions. I have Lewis Gregory with me, the Arts and Cultural Officer, who sat on the panel, if there's any questions.
Thank you very, very much. Moving now to Councillor Cypher.
Thank you. Well, this was a very interactive assessment panel, and we certainly went through them with a fine-tooth comb. We've recently renewed or refreshed the assessment criterias, so that these were assessed on that. It was refreshing to see that performing arts, which traditionally hasn't had a big focus in this region, has really had a focus in the last couple of rounds, actually. Awesome. So that is something very refreshing. I suppose one thing with the timing of these rounds, and we did look closely at the timing of the rounds for next year, we couldn't get another round in before Metal for March. So the community, thankfully council has got a project in there for Metal for March, but for community groups, they haven't got their mindset on Metal for March at this point in time. So we don't have any individual applications for Metal for March, and we really tried to look at how we could have a round for that, but it was just too short a notice. We couldn't get it endorsed before a council meeting before Metal in March actually happens. So we probably need to do a little bit of work around encouraging people in the future to be a little bit more forward thinking and planning, particularly for artists to plan out, well, I know we're only in, October, but I've got to think about March. So we certainly need to do a little bit of work around that. Just a comment, and it's probably clarification again from the CEO. I noticed the officer's recommendation, if we're voting on that, is to receive minutes, which we usually do separately, but we're also approving grants. So are we doing one motion, one that is a receiving and one is approving? I'd just like clarity around that, please.
So, yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, it's fine for councillors to vote on the report as is, being yes, you're receiving and you're approving within the one motion.
Very good, thank you. And I noted that the minutes were from the assessment panel minutes, so I thought it was applicable to the the recommendations. So as I think the committee meetings are separate minutes. So, but thank you for that. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, and just a very simple question probably for those on that assessment panel, just because it is made up of officers, councillors and community, just for my benefit, what is a quorum on that committee?
Through the chair, so there's 3 voting members, so one from each of those parties, so one council officer, one councillor and one community member is the quorum for the actual funding applications.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Newman.
Thank you. Through the chair, being familiar with the program and the community, I'm greatly in support on council taking forward some initiatives to reactivate that space. I was wondering whether we as a councillor group might like to be supportive of the arts and go on a mailing list and help encourage further promotion of these events. Just a suggestion. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? go back to Councillor Cypher for a close.
Thank you. I did raise at the meeting, and the council initiated projects. We do have to be very careful that council isn't running all of these projects simply to use up grant money. I think internally we have enough on our plate without running numerous, because they're very time consuming running these projects. We do have 2 of them here, and I know in the past we've had a lot more. So I do agree, and not necessarily with councillors, but we need to know, we need to be out there proactively promoting these, and as do the staff, and we did talk about that as well. So yes, the purpose of this is really more for community, not for council to pick up the slack and drive it all. I'd like to empower community, and that's what this is about. So I certainly agree with what Councillor Newman was saying, because it's important that community takes advantage of this and don't totally rely on council to run all arts and cultural activities.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cypher. Thank you, councillors. We've had the recommendation read out, so all those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. So moving on now to item, just checking, I've got this in the right order. Moving on now, thank you very much. Moving on now to item 12.3.1, which is under the commercial and corporate services area. So the item is the Operational Plan 2025-26 Quarter 1 Performance Report. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh. Seconder? Councillor Cruz. Thank you very much. So, handing over to our Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very pleased to be able to present the first quarter's operational report on behalf of the Executive and our staff members. A very, very busy start to the financial year. Of our 35 activities identified in the operational plan, 1 is already complete, with 31 on track and 3 being reviewed to ensure that we do deliver. A lot of statistics in the report to give you some understanding. We had a significant amount of aircraft landings, almost 1,500 in the first quarter of the new financial year. Significant amount of throughput at the sale yards, over 36,000 head of cattle through. With the customer service teams, we hosted 9 community meetings across the region, including areas like Comet, Ruby Vale, Ralston and the Arcadia Valley. The infrastructure teams, the 13 maintenance grading crews, completed significant pavement works on Bonnie Doon Road, the Sealed Wintoon Road, and Boot and Kettle Culvert upgrade on Capella and Ruby Vale Road. Water utilities, 1.5 million kilolitres in water, processed during the quarter. Arts and culture, 6 gallery exhibitions and 16 arts festivals. And to show growth in the region in the first quarter alone, 45 development applications and 40 plumbing approvals. So that's quite significant, not to mention that we've also been quite successful in land sales during the quarter. So for the report itself, I will hand over to the directors if there's any questions of council, but primarily the resolution is that we recommend council receive the operational plan pursuant to section 1743 of the Local Government Regs 2012 in Queensland.
Thank you very much. And over to Councillor Hindmarsh.
Thank you. Through the chair, I was to see that the progress status of these these projects, in the main, they're on schedule or ahead of schedule, and the amount of work that has gone on in the first quarter of this year. And I think it's a testament to the direction that the council is heading in at the moment as an organisation, and I'd like to congratulate all within council. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh. So opening up to any councillors for comments or questions. Very good. I'll just make a quick comment if that's all right. Thank you very much, and want to say congratulations to staff. It's been an amazing start to the financial year and what's been achieved in this first quarter. And I think that I like to talk in percentages. So the percentage that I particularly picked up on was that we've already got 88% of the projects or activities on track. So, and definitely, as the CEO said, one of the projects has already been completed. So that's awesome. So thank you very much. No other comments or questions? We'll go back to Councillor Hindmarsh.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. So recommendation's been read out, so we'll vote on the recommendation. So all those in favour? Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you very much, councillors. So moving on now to item 12.4.1, which is the Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy. So can I have a mover, please? Councillor Newman, seconder. Councillor Burns. Thank you. So handing over now to our General Manager, Commercial and Corporate Services, Carolyn Knudsen. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the Chair, this report presents the draft Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy developed in response to legislative requirements under the Child Safe Organisations Act 2024, which mandates that local governments implement child safe standards by October 2025 and demonstrate compliance by April 2026. The policy provides strategic direction for Council as a child-safe organisation, embedding child safety and wellbeing into governance, culture and service delivery. Informed by sector best practice and internal consultation, it aims to reduce the likelihood of harm to children and young people and strengthen Council's ability to identify and respond to concerns. The draft policy also commits Council to ensuring staff, volunteers and contractors have the knowledge and skills to uphold the child safety standards. Adoption of this policy will position Council to meet legislative obligations and community expectations. And further, Council's adoption of the draft policy will provide strategic direction to develop and implement supporting procedures and training programs and compliance monitoring systems. It is the Office's recommendation that Council resolves to adopt the Central Highlands Regional Council Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy, and I now hand back to the Chair for consideration and discussion.
Thank you very much. And handing over now to our mover, Councillor Newman.
Thank you very much. Through the Chair, I think it's pleasing to see this draft Central Highlands Regional Council Child Safety and Wellbeing Policy being put forward. It's the most proactive approach to keeping one of our most vulnerable sectors well looked after, and I think it protects both our staff and our community, and I welcome this recommendation. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other councillors for comments or questions? Councillor Cruz.
Through the Chair, just probably more of a comment just to say that this this just highlights the importance of having robust governance in our organisation so that we can actually pick up and act swiftly and add to our suite of policies as needed with requirements from legislative changes. So really just highlights the importance of governance in our organisation. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions, councillors? Thank you. So we'll go back over to Councillor Newman for closing comments.
I just believe that we have a number of our staff that should be acknowledged with the positive work that they do already in this space, and I'm glad to see this mechanism put in place and this policy adopted for the continued safety of both community and the organisation. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. So the recommendation's been read out. So all those that are in favour? Unanimous? Thank you very much. Moving on to item 12.4.1, which is the project nomination, a State Emergency Service Support Grant 2026-27. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Donaldson, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Cruz. Over to our Acting General Manager, Infrastructure and Utilities, Kim Downey. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, councillors. As already stated, the purpose of this report is to seek endorsement to submit one project for funding through the 26-27 State Emergency Services Support Grant. This grant is an annual grant from the Queensland Government that's actually administered by the SES with the purpose of providing financial support for local governments to dedicate resources to SES groups. The funding, we followed our normal funding process internally, sent it out to the appropriate people within council, and received 2 projects in nomination back. We took those 2 projects to the SPGG meeting on the 16th of October. The outcome of the discussion at that meeting was that only one of the projects was endorsed for progression through to submission, with the recommendation against submitting the application for the replacement of the Springshaw SES vehicle. This vehicle has less than 10,000 kilometres against it and is serviced regularly. So the recommendation, councillors, is that we endorse the submission of Duringa SES facility generator for funding for a total of $44,340 in the 26-27 financial year.
Thank you very much. I think there's a little bit more on that recommendation, but we'll read that as we go. But thank you very, very much. Over to Councillor Donaldson.
I support this. Any money we can get from other governments and organisations puts less of a burden on the ratepayer. So I'm all support of this.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions, councillors? Councillor Sofer.
Thank you. I was very pleased to see that the Springshaw SES vehicle was not put up for funding. I recall very clearly the discussion the last time that was put up and what was going to happen with that vehicle that had a mere 10,000 kilometres on it. So I'm assuming the organisation has pulled back from the suggestion of what they were originally going to do with that vehicle. If I could have confirmation of that, please.
Through the chair, yes, we have, Councillor Sofer.
Thank you. Very pleased to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sofer. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, more of a comment and probably as an awareness. So the emergency management responsibilities and financial arrangements was quite topical at the LGAQ conference. It was a motion that was put up by the North Burnett Regional Council just with regards the LGAQ calling on the state government to assume full financial responsibility for the operation and support of the state emergency services from local government. Obviously, there was a lot of debate on that because some councils have spent a great deal of money investing in best practice and what they feel is best for the community, and then others felt that it was a cost shift and a burden for themselves that should be put squarely back on the state. So it's probably a lot of moving pieces in this space and something to be watched closely. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Cruz. Any other comments or questions, councillors? Okay, I'll just read out the recommendation because there's some extra bits there to it. So that the Central Highlands Regional Council endorses... Sorry, did I go back to Councillor Donaldson? Sorry. I'm keen again to keep moving on. Sorry, to close. Councillor Donaldson.
Just as a comment, what Rachel was talking about at the...
Councillor Cruz.
Sorry, Councillor Cruz. It was noted that with the SES and at the conference we attended, I noted that it was all large councils were wanted the status quo, whereas the smaller councils that were struggling financial, they wanted to move it back to the state government. So my feeling is I think it should go back to the state government and councils shouldn't do it, but I understand why the bigger councils didn't because they've spent a lot of money there. As back to what we're voting on, I fully support that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving to the recommendation is that Central Highlands Regional Council endorses the following project to be progressed to application for funding through the State Emergency Service or SES support grant for in 2026-27. The Duringa SES facility generator valued at the application is valued at $44,340. Furthermore, if the application is successful, Central Highlands Regional Council will commit to the inclusion of the required funds in the financial years in which the projects will be delivered, inclusive of any project costs deemed ineligible by the funding body. So we've had our mover and seconder, so all those in favour? Unanimous? Carried. Thank you very much. So our next agenda item is item 12.6.1, council meeting dates for 2026. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Donaldson, seconder. Councillor Whiteman. Handing over now to our Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as is the requirement of local government, each year we need to lock in the calendar dates for the General Council meeting for each year. So as is the custom here at Council, our council meetings are to be held on the fourth Wednesday of each month, noting that in March, July and November will be in Capella, Blackwater and Springsure respectively. And the December meeting with Christmas landing, I think the fourth Wednesday will be too close to Christmas. So the third Wednesday, which is generally the custom here as well, will be the December Christmas meeting. So my recommendation is, I won't read all the dates, but the council adopts the general council meeting dates as tabled and on the screen.
Good. Thank you very much. Over to our mover, Councillor Donaldson.
It's good that the council still spreading out our meetings in Capella, Blackwater and Springshaw. I was just wondering if if something happens and we can't have the meeting on the scheduled date, what happens then?
Yep, so thank you, Councillor, through you, Madam Mayor. So if there is a required change of the General Council meeting, a resolution is brought to Council prior to that to change the meeting date.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I'd just like to make a note. So, being aware that we did have one of those changes this year between Blackwater and Springshaw, so Springshaw will actually go for an extended timeframe between community consultations, which they identified at their last community consultation. So just noting that happens in those change times.
Thank you very much, Councillor Newman. Any other comments or questions? Back over to Councillor Donaldson to close. Thank you.
I have no further comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Donaldson. The recommendation's been read out. So all those in favour? Unanimous, carried. Thank you. So the next agenda item is a closed session item. So I'll just read out why we go into our closed session and get a mover and seconder to go into closed session. So the agenda item is 13.1, realignment of council organisational structure. The reason for going into closed session, this report is confidential under section 254J3B of the Local Government Regulation 2012, which permits the council meeting to be closed to the public to discuss B, industrial matters affecting employees. So can I have a mover and a seconder to move into closed session? Councillor Cypher, mover, and seconder, Councillor Burns. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Moving into closed session. Thank you. So welcome back, everybody. Thank you very much. And we're putting the recommendation. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the looking for a mover and seconder for the recommendation, which is to, thank you, which is that the Central Highlands Regional Council adopts the newly aligned organisational structure as depicted in the minutes and agenda in accordance with section 1961 of the Local Government Act 2009 as the resourcing necessary for the performance of its local government responsibilities and in delivering the requirements of the corporate and operational plans effective 17th of November 2025. So can I have a mover? Oh, yes. Councillor Cruz, and a seconder? Councillor Hindmarsh. All those in favour? And those against, thank you. Yeah, I was just about to once they got all the names. Thank you, Councillor Cypher. And to record Councillor Cypher as against. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Very good. Moving on now to item 14 point. Oh, yeah, sure, we can do that. Sorry, I'm pushing everyone, aren't I, today, without giving us a little break for morning tea. So we'll have a break for 15 minutes. Okay, so that we'll be back here at 11 o'clock. Oh, okie dokie, so that's about 20 minutes. Awesome. Keep it on the hour. That's awesome. So we'll be adjourning for a short break and we will be resuming the council meeting at 11 a.m. So thank you very much. Well, thank you, everyone. We're re-adjourning our meeting today. Moving on now to item 14.2.1, the Community Satisfaction Survey 2024. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Burns, seconder. Councillor Newman. Thank you. And handing over now to our Chief Executive Officer to introduce this item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as members are aware, the biennial survey, so every 2 years, this council conducts a community satisfaction survey. So for this year, it was conducted between the 22nd of April and the 13th of May by independent market research consultants Taverner, which provided valuable insights in what's working really well for our council and where improvements can be made. So a telephone survey was actually conducted across the region, a spread of ages, genders, locations. So it's a truly representative statistical sample of our region for this particular survey. And the recommendation is that the council receives the Community Satisfaction 2024 report as tabled.
Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. And over to Councillor Burns.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for this report. I was just trying to find the numbers on the actual participants. Is it around 400? Have I got the number correct?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, 400 participants.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a question. Thank you very much, Councillor Burns. Any other comments or questions from the councillors? Thank you very much. I would just like to say thank you to all the community members that participated in this survey. It's a valuable tool to get feedback from our community with specific topics around what council delivers. We do rely on our community to give us the feedback so that we can take that on to make sure that we're improving our services to the community as we go forward. So thank you to all those people who have been involved. Thank you to all the staff that coordinated the survey, and we know that it's a valuable tool for to have for our councillors and our senior managers to be able to guide the areas where community feel that we need to be doing more, and we thank those for telling us about the things that we're doing well as well. So, no other comments or questions, councillors? Thank you very much. So back to Councillor Burns to close.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, nothing else to comment on. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've read out the recommendation that the Central Highlands Regional Council receives the Community Satisfaction Survey 2024 report. So all those councillors in favour? Unanimous? Carried. Thank you very, very much. Now we're moving on to item 14.2.2, which is the record of proceedings for the Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee planning meeting, 3rd of October 2025. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cypher, and a seconder? Councillor Donaldson. Thank you very much. Over to our Acting General Manager for Communities, Jason Houlihan. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the Chair, The Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee, known as CHRC, is a council committee established to support council's service delivery in the area of arts, culture and heritage. The committee met on the 3rd of October 2025, following the Regional Arts and Development Fund Assessment Panel meeting, with the records of proceedings presented to you here today. I'll take the report as read, and if there are any further questions, I again have Lewis Gregory, Arts and Cultural Officer, here to assist with the answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to Councillor Cypher. Thank you.
Thank you. Take the report as being read, but I'll just make a comment on the art galleries, actually. Our two major art galleries, which is in Emerald and Springshaw. The bookings in there are incredible. I mean, you know, they are fully booked out until, I haven't got the actual dates here, but I think it's about 20, I think Springshaw has got a couple of openings in 2026, but Emerald is pretty much booked out till 27, beginning of 27, which is pretty incredible. I'd also just like to give a call out that that Capella, although it doesn't operate an art gallery from Capella, the Friends of the Capella Cultural Centre do operate, started last year, a pop-up gallery evening, which will continue on an annual basis through the gracious volunteering of that group. And I will just declare that I do support that as well, with that group and guide them on how to set up an exhibition. It was a good meeting, followed on from the grants meeting, the sponsorship grants meeting. So pretty much it's all there in the report.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Cypher. So any other councillors have any comments or questions? Thank you very much. And it was exciting actually reading through the minutes and all the ideas and planning that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that all of our arts and cultural activities through this group run successfully. And as you quite rightly say, that also that planning a long way forward, and it's very, very exciting. It's probably I guess, difficult for some groups or artists, but yes, we do have our art galleries booked a long way ahead, which is really, really exciting for our community. So thank you very much to all the staff and especially our community members and our councillors that participate on the committee. So, Councillor Cypher, would you like to speak again?
No, I don't think we need to kill too much time.
Thank you very much. The recommendation, I think, was read out, but just to check, that the Central Highlands Regional Council receives the record of proceedings of the Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee planning meeting held on the 3rd of October 2025. We have a mover and seconder, so all those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Now we have a presenter joining us for the next agenda item. So, we're probably going to have to wait for 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll just adjourn the meeting until our guest presenter can be here. So mover, Councillor Cypher, and seconder, Councillor Newman. All those in favour to have an adjournment? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We'll have a mover and seconder and to come out of adjournment. Thank you. If I can have a mover, Councillor Cypher, and seconder, Councillor Burns. All those in favour? Carried to come out of adjournment. So now we will resume our meeting. Thank you very much. We were probably maybe moving a little bit ahead of time, perhaps. So, leading on to our next agenda item, which is 14.6.1, which is the service level agreement update, Q1 2025-26, Central Highlands Development Corporation. So, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cypher, seconder. Councillor Cruz, thank you very much. And now I can hand over to, well, it says here, Gary Scanlon, who's the relieving Chief Executive Officer for Central Highlands Development Corporation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, but we're going to do a double team this morning. So Peter will take the lead, and I'll answer questions for any misdemeanours in the last 60 days that I've caused. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and welcome to our CEO for Central Highlands Development Corporation. Welcome back, Peter. Handing over to you too. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors and officers. Always a pleasure to update on our SLA arrangements. I take it as given that councillors have had the opportunity to read the report, so we'll try and hit the highlights and give you the opportunity for questions if required. I would like to thank Gary in the first instance. Gary Scanlon's a well-known regional development practitioner across Australia, but particularly in central Queensland, and for supporting CHDC, both board and team, over the last 60 days. So it's always great to have fresh eyes and a fresh pair of hands in the seat, and Gary's done a tremendous job. So very much thank you publicly, Gary. I'll try and get this presentation going. Not having any luck again, Marty. But effectively, councillors, I won't go through the detail of the ops plan. You can see there in the report given that there are a number of deliverables in Q1 that have been confirmed and completed. They're in the blue, and the rest are all on task, which is really pleasing to note. I think one of the important notes I did want to raise was with regards to farm-to-fine dining, which is traditionally in each financial year. Due to some event management that we've had to do within CHDC, that event is being planned for September, which sits outside of this financial year. So next September is the timing of that. We'll get the dates through to the relevant parties once it's secured. But just wanted to put that in there. We'll obviously transfer that to the next operational plan with the specific details. As I noted in last financial year, we actually did 2 of those events in the one financial year, and we're looking like we're going to do that again in 26-27 at this stage. So we'll see how we go. So I'll take that as read in terms of the deliverables there. I did want to step into the financials just briefly as we give that highlight to your good selves. Pleasing to note that everything's on task there. With regards to the overall budget, in the notation, you can see that we're underspent by approximately 20%. Within CHRC's own funding, that's underspent by about 6.3%. So not unusual at the start of a financial year, and you'll understand from previous reporting periods that the underspend is usually in that timing and transition of funding arrangements from paying consultants to deliver outcomes for us in our project areas, and then awaiting on the income from the funding partner, which is a different timing mechanism. So you can see that approximately 54% of that underspend is in that space, with $88,000 in those various project areas. So I'm very confident that we're on task with our budgeting at this point in time. We will step in, and I did see, thank you, Marnie, a invite to attend the budget finance sort of workshop next April. So we're starting our processes now to look at the funding for next year. So I think in the highlights, and Gary was there as part of it, our ongoing work in the workforce development and accommodation strategy space is really of note. It's recognised now nationally, which is really pleasing. We're not boasting, we're a pretty humble organisation, but it is pleasing that Regional Australia Institute have identified us as one of 6 case studies that were to present in front of ministers and others in Canberra recently. So really pleased that we could do that. There's a lot of work to go in that space, and I must, reiterate the thanks to Council, because as those that were there at the time, we're able to do this in a co-funded arrangement with Council as a starting, to get the strategy off the ground. So again, if we don't get those strategies in place, we can't do the work after it either. So thank you for that. Beyond that, I think it's of note that the Enhancing Early Childhood Care and Education project, which stems from that larger strategy, has just come to conclusion. So we've just sent through our final audited report to Jobs Queensland and got a sign-off and got our money back in the bank. So you'll see that come through in the next quarter's reporting. And effectively, there's a deep sort of dive into the CEO's report that Gary's put together, but effectively we're looking at 20 educators across our region in the Emerald and Blackwater communities at this point in time. That's the gap. Interesting to note that we have 23 qualified educators across those communities that don't wish to be in the sector for a variety of reasons, family, interests, whatever. So there are people out there, they're just doing other things. And the wait list, 363 children on the wait list. So that is substantial. And the challenge we face in this region is the 0 to 3 age group. So the Business Excellence Awards, I'll step into and I'm not going through the slides, so thank you. I'll step into the second page on that around the gala dinner. A very successful evening with a lot of work that has gone into it from our team, but also from our partners and our supporters and contractors to make it happen. And let alone the businesses themselves. There's a big process for those who enter the program and get to that final stages. The evening had 300 plus in attendance. The surveying post-event was highly positive. Our partners were surveyed and that was highly positive. They are very keen to support again. It was a sold-out event, which is pleasing, and we had 30 on the wait list. It's really important that Council understands that your funding is a really great leverage point to these events. These events are not funded by Council, but if we don't have the people in place to do this work, we can't leverage to get that funding. And fortunately, through a lot of hard work, we got our best level of funding and partnership for that event that we've had to date. So a lot of hard work to get there though, but that's very pleasing. And obviously, the business of the year was Serenity Dental. So there you go.
Wonderful.
Looking at workshops and stepping through that, there's a variety that continue to take place. I think they're listed in detail in the CEO's report, so I won't go through them. Important to note that our events calendar is starting to shape up, as I said earlier, with farm to fine dining. One of the reasons for that change is because of AgTech 26. So we've had a real change of heart and good consultation with the industry around what to do with the timing of that event. Traditionally November every second year, every alternate year to the Business Awards, and we're now looking at the 23rd of July next year, which is far better. It's a better window for farmers. It's a better window for our students because it's the last 2 weeks in their calendar that they can access that before holidays and other things. So that's been confirmed, and we're now working with partners to start doing that early design and planning. A one-day event, so and the format being worked out to be positioned at the CQ Smart Cropping Centre. So we'll give you more information as it comes to hand. Just with the engagements, I thought I'd hand over to Gary. He's put through a number of engagements there, and it might be of value for him to step in and just give us an overview.
Sure, thanks, Pete. So we've had some pretty interesting engagements during the period that I was here, particularly from people like Sky Renewables, who are looking at sugar beet cropping for producing ethanol and sustainable aviation fuel. A lot of that stuff happening in other regions around the place, and there was a really strong turnout at a grower discussion recently with these guys. So positive stuff moving forward in that space. Certainly lots of discussion at the moment with stakeholders with the Yamala enterprise area and water delivery out there. It's something that DPI have taken a fairly strong interest in just recently, and are looking at how they get a better economic outturn, or a better outturn from possible infrastructure delivery in that space. Lots of discussion with the Net Zero Economy Authority about regions transitioning through changes in regional energy supply and manufacturing, and decarbonising their regions. That will be something that will look at a lot of work going into possibly a future economy framework or action plan. And we're looking for the Net Zero Economy Authority to continue to look at options for all the regions. Their priority region, one of their 7 priority regions, is actually Central Queensland, so they're very focused on this region. Like to hope they had a bit of money in their back pocket as well, but we'll see how we go with that. So. And last but not least is we've had a lot of discussions with the proponents for the Inland Rail extension to Gladstone, All Caps and IPG, and they've had a lot of discussion as well with the Yamala enterprise area and producers and stakeholders around the region. It's interesting, the timing, given that the Gladstone Port's just put an EOI out to go ahead and develop their major container terminal, built 3 new berths, 54 hectares of container terminals, 150 reefer points, coal stores. So that's certainly a very interesting development moving forward for the region. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
I think the other one stepping forward is the analytics area that we often report on, which is the online traffic. So the CQH, which is our external facing visitation sort of platform, is down 24%, still quite a number of, 237,000 accounts that was reached. But the difference there is that we actually put out an advertising campaign in the last quarter. So we actually boosted it for the last quarter because, as I reported then, our visitation takeoff at the start of the season was not strong. So we wanted to boost it. So that's probably the difference in the traffic in that particular Facebook page. But the actual Instagram page for CQH is, again, sort of had a step up of about 9%. So, yeah, credit to those in the team that are doing that hard work and getting it out there to our people to showcase our region. If I look further, I'm just going to go into the annual report just to give you that understanding that obviously we do that highlight reporting throughout the year. It's different to a financial reporting. We don't combine the two as there's no need. We do one for our auditing requirements, and then we do this for the general public to understand and our stakeholders to understand the work we've done in that financial year. Both are public regardless. So really pleased to get that piece of work out there because it really does help synthesise what activity's taken place, but it is the highlights. There's a lot under that you guys have seen through the reporting over the last financial year and beyond. So I think Gary did the good thing and got some hard copies delivered to councillors, is that right? So thank you, Gary, and I hope you've all had a good read of it. Just stepping into some of the publication space, again, in that workforce development and accommodation area, these things are not planned up front. you will plan to do the strategy and put it into a nice collateral format, but then actions that occur and the need for more collateral seems to be moving forward all the time. But it's really vital, it's really important to get that information out. We do it on our website, but we also do it in this format. And, you know, I know council were able to take the document to Canberra. We were able to take it to Canberra and hand it into the Prime Minister's hands and other people. So that's always really pleasing. And there will be an updated collateral piece coming in the next quarter for not only the visitor guide that's coming, but also the early education childcare project that's just been completed. We're looking to do a piece of work there as well. So we will continue to do that work where we can to give ourselves that good professional quality of collateral we can take about and sing our praises and try and get things moved along for our benefit. If I look at the next one, I've got a interesting, we talked about the business survey fact sheet, I think, in the last quarter, so it's probably not news, but it is out there. It was released in July, and it tells a very similar story to previous. So we do have trend analysis now. Over time, we keep the set core questions in that survey, and then we usually add one at the end that might be demonstrative of an interest area at the time when we do the surveying. So still getting really good quality feedback. 181 responses is quite strong for survey work of a population, a business population of about 3,300. So I think I'll finish off with some good work there from a lot of people many years ago, 20 years ago or more actually. The Visitor Information Centre on Emerald burnt down, and I can recall at the time a lot of thought went into what next, and they came up with the straw bale idea and the construction. So that is now 20 years old, so hard to remember, but it's great, and it was great to recognise that. We're also recognised through that national forum with the Regional Australia Institute, and for those who know Deb and Kate Isles, who was our consultant on that project, they're go-getters, and they really made the most of their time in Canberra, I can tell you, from feedback from Gary and from them directly as well. So to nab the Prime Minister in the halls of power is not a mean feat in this day and age. So we're really pleased. We're humble. We've got a lot of work to do in that space. It's not easy work. It's long-term work, but pleased to get a little bit of a showing there on the national stage. And I'll leave it there, I think, councillors and officers. If there are any questions you'd like to ask, happy to offer an answer.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and congratulations. I'll hand over now to Councillor Cypher.
I'll reserve my right to speak last.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions, councillors? Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, it's probably a comment and a question in one, two different topics. But just on the Business Excellence Awards, I guess it's probably worth noting that the awards are the culmination of all the hard work that the businesses do in partnership with CHDC, and there's obviously requirements that they have to fulfil going through that. So we've got the glitz and the glamour at the end, but it's all the hard work getting to that point. And ultimately, the real win for the businesses and our community and region in general is the capacity that is built through that whole process. So while we see the one event, there is a multitude of little things that are adding up to the big thing at the end. So it's worth noting that. My question is around the inland rail extension and those conversations. I'm just wondering whether the proponents of that and those discussions are informing that Queensland Freight Delivery Plan review that's underway.
You want to take that one?
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor. I couldn't say precisely. I haven't had a conversation with the proponents about that. The conversation with the proponents, they've actually amalgamated with the two of the leading proponents for the inland rail extension into one group now, which is great. It was generally about the extension to Gladstone and then how they could offer freight and logistics services and supply chain enhancement services to the region. And I'd say they, knowing the two lead proponents, I'd say they wouldn't miss an opportunity for advocacy and to have their input into state policy and federal policy as well.
Yeah, because it's certainly gaining some traction and topical now, in particular those like intermodal ports and where they're strategically placed. So probably a good conversation to continue. And also just wanted to say appreciate your efforts at the helm whilst Peter was away. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Very good. Thank you very much. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I'd just like to congratulate all involved with this quarter. I know there's been a lot of work and a lot of moving parts in the background on what's been happening operationally. And thank you, Gary, for your stint here. Welcome back, Peter. And I hope it continues in the same energy that it's been shown today. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. Any other questions, comments? Handing back over to Councillor Soper.
Just support what Councillor Cruz and Newman said. Certainly a big thank you to Gary. Can't believe 8 weeks went so fast. I couldn't believe Peter was back. So, no, that went well. I suppose I just want to pass comment on, from a board perspective, we are very committed to governance and reviewing our policies. We've got a consultant in doing a review of those, and we're very, as a board, very focused on the style of policy we want, separating it from procedure to the actual policy, with procedure as an operational aspect, and we'll go through all our policies based upon that direction. Also, the board is very focused on being a working and a contributing board. In fact, that we have for the policies, we've got a couple working off to the side that will be focusing on the policy and then bringing it back to the board, where it's a lot of, we're encouraging more input and activity within the board to be proactive in the strategy side of things. We also focus very much on...
Thank you, Councillor. Oh, sorry, just a bit of a point of order. I think we're commenting on the report
but those
as well.
points are in the report.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
They're all dot points in the report.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so we have a strategy meeting every second meeting is a strategy meeting, and this time we went out to Marathon Wagyu for a tour, and I think that's very beneficial, and have guest speakers come in. Those guest speakers are dot pointed in the report, so you might want to look in the report again. So yeah, we're a very focused board, and yeah, so very confident in the future of CHDC.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor. And again, congratulations on the content of your report as well. A lot of work done. So now that we've got a mover and seconder, we'll put to the vote. I might just make sure that the recommendation is here, that the Central Highlands Regional Council notes the Central Highlands Development Corporation quarterly update for the period of July to September 2025 in accordance with the service level agreement between the both organisations. So all those in favour? Unanimous? Carried? Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Gary.
Yeah, thank you, councillors. Thanks, officers.
Now, moving on now to agenda item Section 15, information reports. There's no closed session reports there. There's agenda item 16, late agenda items. There's nil. Notice of motions, item 17. There's nil. And over to the councillors if there's any general business. Okay, thank you very much, councillors. Item number 19 is community acknowledgements. Did anybody have any community acknowledgements? Okay, thank you very much. So item number 20 is a close of our meeting. Sorry, we'll just come back.
Yeah, a little bit late in community acknowledgements, but I know particularly and I'd like to acknowledge all the rural fire brigades as well as the fire brigades at the moment, particularly in Emerald. I know the local rural fire brigades have been quite busy over the last weekend, and yes, I just like that recognised with what great support they give to our local communities in looking after and protecting both people and assets.
Thank you very much, Councillor Newman. And I think we all concur with your comments, so thank you very, very much. So moving on to item 20, which is closure of our meeting today. So thank you very much to our councillors. Thank you to all the staff who've worked hard to make sure that we're set up here in beautiful Blackwater for our meeting today. So thank you very much, and also thank you to Beth Baker as well for joining us for our opening prayer today as well. So thank you all, and we'll see the community here this evening at 5 p.m. for the community consultation meeting. So thank you all, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.